Hey, welcome to Kingdom Chats. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Kyra.
And together we have the great joy of being the young families pastors here at Winepress Church, leading the amazing community, which is Kingdom Families, and hosting this podcast, where together we are exploring practical ways to live out His kingdom in our everyday lives.
That's it. And each episode is designed as a conversation starter.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack the word together, hopefully to spark conversations in your world, because that's where the real value is, when you can actually explore it with your spouse, your kids, and your community group.
That's exactly right. So every week, along with the episode, we release discussion questions specifically designed to discuss with your spouse, your kids, and your community group. You can find them every week at winepress.org.au/Kingdom Chats. That's winepress.org.au/Kingdom Chats. So bookmark it, put it on your home screen, print it on your wall, do whatever you got to do. Go there every week to explore those questions together, and together let's see His kingdom come on earth as in heaven. Let's dive in.
Good morning, Caleb.
Hey, Kyra.
Welcome to Kingdom Chats.
It is good to be back.
Always good to be back for another Kingdom Chat.
Indeed. And we are now in our second episode of this 6 months exploring our 6 core values at Winepress.
Yeah, that's it.
So this is going to be good. So we're going to dive straight in.
Yep.
We are in the first month. So the first core value, which is, everyone pause it and make sure you can say it. What is the first core value? It is?
Jesus at the center.
Yeah, very good. It's about loving God and worshipping Him and how we live, love, and lead. So last week we talked about sort of the heart posture of what it actually means to love God. I found stuff in that actually challenging, and we've been sort of working through that. We had a great chat with our comm group last week, sort of working through that, what it means to love God, how it looks, and that sense of love is not a feeling, but love should be full of feeling.
Yeah, I love that. That was a good quote.
It was. I should get a hold of the guy who said that.
We should put that on a plaque, put that up somewhere in the house.
You go for it. You do that. So this week we're going to continue exploring the same value still, Jesus at the center. But we want to sort of pivot a little bit to look not just at the heart posture of loving God, but the lifestyle of how we live that out. And like I said, in our community group, we had a great chat around that. And one of the things that came out was that we're all of us are in different stages of life. There are different things we're doing and called to do. Loving God does not just look like, or it's not just measured by how many hours you spend in prayer, how many hours you spend reading your Bible, doing your quiet time. They're great things to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but that's not the essence of loving God. It's about Jesus being at the center of everything that we do. Jesus being at the center and everything flowing out of that. In our comm group, we're in a group with young families who all have young kids. It would be lovely to say, I'm just going to spend 3 hours just sitting in prayer with Jesus.
Be beautiful,
But that's not the reality right now. But it's like, what does it look like for us to love God is actually Jesus being at the very center of us raising our kids. Jesus being at the center of us building our family and setting the culture and value in our family and things like that. So I want to talk a little bit about the practical lifestyle of how that lives, of Jesus being at the center. I always remember when I talk about this concept, I was once, many years ago, this was a totally different context. I was in a small group with a bunch of guys, and we would sort of catch up every couple of weeks and chat through life. And, we'd always start with the question like, how's your relationship with God going? And I recognized without fail that each of these guys, you'd say, how's your relationship with God doing? And they would answer that question. Well, the question they would actually answer is, how consistent were you in your quiet time and Bible reading this week? But it's like it's like you'd say, how's your relationship with God?
And they would answer,
oh, not too great. I've only done 2 quiet times this week, or I was 2. Do you know what I mean? Now your quiet time, being in the Word, that is vital. That is something God's really stirring in my heart at the moment. So I'm not against that.
No. And like with any relationship, you can't just not have quality time and expect to have a good quality relationship. So it matters.
It does matter. It's important.
But it's not the measure.
But it's not your relationship with God. You know what I mean? It's the same as all the time I'll use the analogy of a husband-wife relationship. Our relationship is not our date night. Do you know what I mean? It's an important thing for us to be able to have quality time to stop and connect and say, I'm just here with you and to spend time with you.
Exactly.
But we actually have a relationship, and loving God and having Jesus at the center is so similar to that.
Yeah.
Do you mean? It's about having that daily relationship, loving him and him being at the center of every part
of life.
Does it make sense? So we've got a visual
Yes,
example.
We love a good visual
We do
example.
love it. All right, let's pull it over. Oh, drum roll. What is it? Okay, this is...
Well,
oh no, it's falling
we're
on.
losing. Yeah, we're losing balls.
Would you hold that for me, Kyra?
Perfect.
We didn't really think through how this is going to work before we did it, but it'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be so good.
So this is the jar of your life.
Yeah.
Okay, as you can see, this jar is pretty full.
Yeah.
It's so full that when I lifted it over, some of the balls fell out.
Yes, exactly.
So it's like
this feels like life. This feels like life.
How many can relate to this feeling like your life?
Yes.
I'm just going to stick it. All right, okay. So this is the jar of life.
It's overfull.
All right, let's call it Kyra's life. Kyra, your jar of life is quite...
Yeah, I'm juggling a lot of balls.
Okay, but we're saying our core value is that Jesus in it. We love God. It's all about Jesus. And so in order to live that out, you say, oh, I've got all these things in my life. Now, these balls might be different things. There's raising your kids.
Yeah.
There's cooking dinner for the family. There's
cleaning
your work. There's cleaning the house. There's relationships with your family. There's all this.
Yeah.
And we say, all right,
Jesus at the center.
So you need
I need Jesus in this jar.
You need Jesus in the jar. Now, my other balls fall on the ground because it...
Yep.
Here's Jesus. He was just sitting. All right, this green ball is Jesus. For those listening on the podcast...
We have a jar.
We have a jar and it's full of balls.
Yeah.
This green ball is Jesus. And so Kyra is now going to add Jesus. Do you want me to add Jesus to your life for you? And then what's going to happen? Obviously it's... Jesus doesn't... Oh, wait. Oh, you got a little bit of Jesus there. We got Jesus for a... Oh, hey, you got a little tiny corner of Jesus hanging in there. Good job.
He's just on the edge.
Just on the edge. Obviously, what's wrong with this picture?
Well, Jesus isn't quite at the center.
No.
He's half in, half out.
He's hanging in by a thread.
Yeah. Barely in the jar.
A lot of us can sometimes...
there he goes.
There goes
See?
Jesus.
That's what happens when you...
Okay. You can put that down for a second. Yeah. This is how a lot of us can feel trying to live out Jesus at the center.
That's right. Yeah.
We try and add Jesus into a full jar.
Yeah.
And that's right. Like, people have asked me questions before. It's like, how do you include Jesus in raising your kids?
Yes.
And questions like that, which is not a bad question.
Yeah, it's not. It's not the wrong.
It's not totally wrong, but it's also not totally right.
Yes.
Because I'm like, my instinctive response is like, how do you raise your kids without Jesus?
Yes.
Does that make sense? It's like Jesus should absolutely be just at the middle of everything we do. It's not like, oh, I'm raising my kids and then trying to remember to add Jesus on top. Yeah. Same as your work. It's not like you're trying to do your work and then go remember, oh, I should include Jesus in my work.
Yeah.
When we're doing this, when we're living out Jesus at the center, Jesus is absolutely just in the heartbeat of everything you do. And that's when you're saying, how do you get through a day at work without Jesus, without leaning on Jesus, without thinking, not just thinking about Jesus and not just remembering to say a prayer from day to day, from time to time, but saying, Jesus, what do I do here? How do we do here? Jesus, you've planted me here. Who have you got me to speak to today? It's like Jesus is the center of everything. It's like, I'm only in this job because this is where Jesus has planted me.
Yeah.
I'm only in this job because this is where Jesus has got me at the moment. He's guiding me. It's his wisdom. He's giving me the ideas, the grace, the strength, the connections, the open doors.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean there's not challenges. I'm not saying that, but it's about in everything Jesus being at the center. So should we redo Kyra's life?
Let's.
Okay. Kyra, tip your balls out. Come on.
Well, if we tip them out,
we'll lose them all. Yeah, that's true.
The analogy will not work. Where's Jesus?
Well, the previous Jesus was on the floor, but let's get a new one because I don't actually know. I don't know where he rolled. There he is.
Jesus
we're gonna hold
is
him
going
up.
Into the jar first.
Okay. This is a good representation now of life.
Yeah.
And now
so
you're
saying...
saying...
start with Jesus.
All right. Now, Jesus, how do we raise our kids? All right. Build that around Jesus. Jesus, where do we connect into authentic community? There we go.
Where do we spend our resources?
Yep.
How do we use our time?
Yep. Where do we live?
Where do we live?
What work are you calling us to do?
Yeah.
Who do we reach out to?
Yeah. Who do we reach out to? Who do we, connect with and invest in as our closest friends?
Yep.
What else have we got?
What ministry have you got for us to do? What do we do? Just what do we do with our time? How do we rest? What do we do on our day off?
Yep. What do we do on our day off? What are the kids doing?
Yep. Beautiful.
Yep.
Okay. All these are now here built around the foundation of
Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus at the center.
Yeah.
So this is our picture. We can put it down.
Yeah.
If you want. So this is what is in my heart for us to get a picture of what it is to live Jesus at the center.
Yeah.
That in our life, in our decisions, in our everyday, it's not just saying, oh, we make sure we make time to pray. Those are important things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like we said, relationships require quality time.
Yeah. And it's building our time around Jesus. It's building our day around, hey, I need to connect with Jesus every day.
So where does that go?
That's the first thing that gets blocked in, and then everything else flows out from that. But it goes beyond just having prayer time and going to church. It's building our life around Jesus. What are you saying?
Yeah.
And so what do we do here? Could we quickly, to finish this off, talk about a couple of like practical examples of how this could look, how we could live this out?
Yeah. Well, straight away, I think of the example of, we've got kids. We're talking about Levi doing sport. And that's one thing that's like, okay, we obviously have already decided, well, Jesus is at the center.
Yep.
So therefore, the things that we prioritize are church, where we're growing in our relationship with God,
not as a religious obligation, but because
as we see value in that as, that's an outflow of Jesus
at the center. So connecting with his church, with his people on a weekly thing, that's just a central part, a central value. So that decision's already made. That's pre-decided. And
we've also got Com Group, where we meet on the weekend as well. So those two things
again, as a outflow of this is the community God's planted us in. So we're connected here. That's non-negotiable.
That's right. So they're the two things that, impact our time on a weekend. Things that we've committed to. And
so those balls are already in there.
They're already in there. So now we're saying, okay, Levi playing sport, where does that go? What can we do? Well, Auskick for his age group is on a Sunday morning. Oh, it doesn't work because Sunday morning is church.
Yeah.
Oh, Auskick on, a Sunday afternoon. No, that doesn't work. So we've already got the outflow of Jesus at the center.
Means that other decisions
have been made, and so then we can't just go ahead and put that there. So sport for Levi might be basketball on a Wednesday.
Yep.
Because that doesn't actually impact things that we've already.
And so it's not saying it's a good thing, Levi playing sport. We're obviously all for it, but it's like Jesus at the center. What's the Jesus calling us to do in this season, where he's called us to connect? Yeah. So our other decisions will fit. Yeah. Around that.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's having this as a value is like having, an array of cards, in a deck of cards and being like, all these things are good things. We want to play these cards, do these activities, train our kids, blah, blah, blah. But the having a value of Jesus at the center is like our trump card. It's like, this beats everything else. So when we're measuring things, does this work? Does this not work? Well, Jesus at the center.
That's the trump.
That's the trump card.
Totally. I always remember hearing that values are like trump cards. And that's been one of the most helpful things, because values, you don't really know what your values are until things clash.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
And then you've got to
you don't know what the trump cards are until multiple cards clash.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so you've got theyese multiple cards here. They're not evil. We're not saying, these are evil cards and this is good. Yeah. That's the value of having a value. Like, these are all good cards, but it's like, I've already decided ahead of time this one's the trump card. And so, and that's something we'll probably refer back to as we go through our core values, how we live that out in the lifestyle. Yeah. These 6 core values, we want them to be trump cards in our lives. It's like, we've got these cards in front of us in our hand. These are all good ones to do, but this one is the trump because we've pre-decided that's our value. Yeah. And this is the most core foundational value. Yeah. Jesus at the center. Yeah. So we build our lives around that. So all these other cards, hey, you're all nice, you're all fine. We're talking about things that are good, that are fine, but it's all going to be based around Jesus at the center. Yeah. And it's going to fit around that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Another great example is one of our kingdom families who, God led them to Winepress, to connect him with Winepress. So they've connected him with Winepress.
And they really sought him about that.
Yeah, they really sought him about where to plant themselves. Once they were planted, they were like, we now live too far. Our house is too far from the church.
And from the community.
The community, particularly their community group, the people that they're connecting with. And so they have uprooted themselves from that house and bought themselves a house closer to their community and closer to the church, because their decision was Jesus is at the center. The outflow of that decision is then we need to be closer to the people God has called us to.
Yeah.
Now, that's not for everyone. I'm not saying that everyone has to uproot themselves.
None of this is putting pressure on, say, you have to do this or you should do this.
But this is an example.
Exactly. It's examples that are outflows.
Yes.
We're saying Jesus at the center. What's Jesus calling me to do? Who's he calling me to connect with? Where's he calling me to be? And then all my other decisions flow out of that.
Yeah. And if you think about the opposite of that, it's like, where can I afford a house? Where can I
make the most money?
Where can I make the most money, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Then it's like, now I'll find a church close to that.
Where can I be close to the beach?
You can see how that's a different way. I'm not saying that either are right or wrong, but I'm just saying that that's maybe not an outflow of Jesus at the center.
It's finding Jesus at the center first,
and saying, Jesus, where have you called me to be? What community am I called to be a part of? What church am I called to be planted in? Where am I supposed to invest? Then you can make decisions out of that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, it can be
radical.
countercultural.
Yeah.
But
something to think about.
Yeah. We are in a kingdom that is radically countercultural.
Absolutely.
So chew on that.
Yeah.
Discuss it with your congregate. We hope that's been helpful and leads to some good discussions. And be blessed. And we will see you next time for the next Kingdom Chat.